But that YouGov polling out today with party members shows that Rishi Sunak will struggle to beat any of the other three with party members. This poll was taken yesterday and today. He loses against every single candidate. Now, what does it tell us about what Rishi Sunak might do if he can lend votes? That's when you lend votes to another campaign to block an opponent. He's not there yet. He doesn't have enough in his locker to do that yet. But that poll suggests that it might be easier for him to get past Penny Mordaunt than Liz Truss. So maybe he'll go that way. But really what we're waiting to see as well, SJ, is how will the Tom Tugendhat vote break? Tom Tugendhat knocked out yesterday one of the One Nation Tories. He had 31 votes to redistribute. Those votes, I hear, are split in between Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting Penny Mordaunt to make some progress. I expect Rishi Sunak should get across the line, and then it's this battle between Truss and Badenoch. I think we've got the results.
As before, I will read the name of the candidate in alphabetical order with the number of votes cast for that candidate, and then specify the candidate to be eliminated from the election. Badenoch, 59 votes. Mordaunt, 92 votes. Sunak, 118 votes. Truss, 86 votes. There was one spoiled ballot paper. We had a full turn, we had one vote not cast. So Kemi Badenoch is eliminated from the election. The remaining three candidates will proceed to a final ballot of the Parliamentary Party tomorrow. This will take place, I mean it this time, will take place between 1 and 3, with the result declared at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Thank you.
Let's just recap the figures for you then. Kemi Badenoch is out of the Tory leadership race. She got 59 votes. That's the same. That means she is out of the running. And then there were three. Rishi Sunak getting the most votes, 118. That's 3 more than he got in the last round by my calculation. Penny Mordaunt, the second highest number of votes with 92, 10 more than she got in the last round of voting. And Liz Truss is on 86. And I'm just trying to do the maths on that. That is about 12 more, I think. Actually, Beth will know more. Let's bring back in our political editor, Beth Rigby. So Kemi Badenoch gone. Yes. And as you said before, that's probably no surprise. But the big question is, who does she put her support behind now out of those final three?
Yeah, I think, SJ, the first thing to say about it is that Badenoch did not make progress. In fact, she went one back. So what do we know from that? The right is now coalescing around Liz Truss. She has had a good run there. She has added 15 votes from the last round. That is good momentum for Liz Truss. The right now coalescing. Some of Badenoch's vote may be going to her. Let's see with that. But then also with Penny Mordaunt, she's gone from 81 to 92, so 11 of the Tom Tugendhat votes. So I'm just looking around to see what MPs are here. 11 of the Tugendhat votes have gone to Mordaunt. So now look at that. It's a real battle between Mordaunt and Truss. Rishi Sunak didn't quite get past the 120 threshold, but let's see where the Badenoch votes break now. Will she go to Liz Truss? Will she break for Rishi Sunak? Will Michael Gove break for Rishi Sunak? He backed Badenoch. Where will he go? There are 59 votes up for grabs, and it will be those votes that decide whether it's Liz Truss or Penny Mordaunt into the final two. There is now just 6 votes dividing the two women. This is such a tight run race to get to the final two. So let's see how the Badenoch breaks now. But Rishi Sunak not quite over the line actually there.
Beth, thank you. Kemi Badenoch actually gained 1 extra vote, but is still out, so that's regardless. We're doing the maths on the hop here, aren't we, Beth? So Penny Mordaunt picking up 10, Rishi Sunak picking up 3, Liz Truss, as you said, the big winner today in that respect, picking up 15. Explain to us what happens now with the final 3.
To hear you, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry, Beth. I was just saying, what happens now with the final 3? Where does this contest now go? in terms of procedure?
So, SJ, now what we have tomorrow is we have another round of votes, and it will be decided by mid-afternoon tomorrow. We will know who is in the final two. Rishi Sunak is pretty assured of getting across the line. He's just 2 votes off now from that magic 120, and it is going to be a hell of a battle between Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss. But from the Truss team there, a bit underwhelming last night, just putting on 7 votes. You expected more perhaps because the Braverman column you thought might split more for Liz Truss, but over the past 24 hours, clearly the right of the party have decided it was time to get behind Liz Truss. She's now just 6 votes off Penny Mordaunt. You've got to wonder how much more of Badenoch's vote can Penny Mordaunt pick up, given that Kemi Badenoch is clearly not a fan of Penny Mordaunt. You've seen her take her to task on some of the gender self-ID legislation and some of the trans issue debate. Kemi Badenoch not aligned with Penny Mordaunt. But who will Badenoch break for? Will she break for Rishi Sunak? Will she break for Liz Truss? It is really wide open still. But I think if you're in the Truss camp now, you will be more confident that she can edge past Penny Mordaunt, but it just really does depend now where those 59 votes break. And I think there will also be a calculation overnight from the Rishi Sunak camp about who would he prefer to face in the final two, and does his team begin to slightly try and move the votes around to block one candidate in favour of the other. I should say that his team have consistently said that they aren't doing that, but might it be that Rishi Sunak would prefer to face down Penny Mordaunt in the final two than the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss? I really couldn't give you a prediction right now about which of those 2 women are going to face Rishi Sunak in the final.
Interesting development, though. We touched on it a little earlier, that YouGov poll saying that Rishi Sunak, whatever woman he faces, will really struggle. Why do you think that is?
The thing is, SJ, at the moment he would really struggle, but I think there is a view in his camp that as the race goes on, he will be able to demonstrate to the party membership that he is the person that is most able to take helm of the government and hit the ground running. So that will be the Sunak position. But you're right. I mean, for him it is difficult when he looks into that runoff and he can see that both women are more popular than him with the party members. So he's got some ground to make up. What might it be? Could it be disloyalty to Boris Johnson? Do they not like his tax policies? Do they not like the taxation levels that he's put on the country? And in that, Liz Truss is therefore a potent opponent because she is the one that's positioning herself as the tax cutter. You saw her in that ITV debate taking aim at Rishi Sunak for, to quote her, bringing about the highest taxation in this country for 70 years. I've actually, if you don't mind, SJ, I've actually got Chris Skidmore here. He is on Team Rishi. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining me. Your man's still not in the final two. You've got to be disappointed in that.
He's 2 votes away. 2 votes away from the final two. 120, is the threshold, and I think that looks incredibly realisable, given obviously sort of Kemi's team. I think some of those will come across, and once he's through to the final two, I've got no doubt that he will impress the membership, with his vision of being able to demonstrate that we don't need to go down this route of tax cuts. We need to provide stability.
But Chris, there was an expectation today that the Tom Tugendhat vote would split between Sunak and Mordaunt, and it hasn't done that. He's only made only 3 votes going his way. I mean, what's happening? Is he stalling?
Well, I think that, when it comes to these predictions, you might as well sort of be looking at the tea leaves. I think, to be honest with you, everyone sort of said, Badenoch might overleap Truss. She only gained, I think, 1 vote in the end. So, and everyone sort of said, Tugendhat, a lot of those might back Kemi. So who knows what's going on? I wouldn't also put it past, some of the other teams to be doing a bit of horse trading amongst.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there may be some rival teams backing others to try to get through to that final second spot. I think
Can you explain? I don't understand that. Can you explain that?
So it might be that you have some people on Team Truss versus some people on Team Mordaunt who are trading their votes around. And I think, it's very clear to me that Rishi is so close to going across the line, but the battle is about the second place now. And actually, it's on a knife edge, whether it's Liz, whether it's Penny, I don't know.
I mean, I can't call it. Can you?
No, I honestly can't. I think
Genuinely have no. Do you not think Liz is edging it, given that the Badenoch vote's more likely to break for her than for Mordaunt?
we just said that we thought some of the Tugendhat votes were going to break for Rishi. So actually, I think what you've got is not just a sort of left-right split here. There's lots of different issues. I mean, if you look on the right, for example, there's this genuine split over trans rights. Not something I particularly think is a priority for voters in this country. But some MPs are deciding their vote on the basis of that and not going for Penny and instead going for Liz.
And Chris, just finally, there's a poll out by YouGov today. I mean, basically, Rishi Sunak might be winning with MPs, but he's tanking with party members. Every single candidate in a poll beats Rishi Sunak. You've got to be worried about that.
So that poll is really interesting because if you compare it with last week's YouGov poll, Rishi has gone up in his percentage.
Still losing, though.
No, he's still losing against some of the newer candidates. So Penny went down 16 points, but she was up at 62, and she's now down at 50-something. Kemi's now come up because obviously Kemi's featured in the debates. These are tiny sample sizes, and actually what you're seeing is certain new candidates coming towards the public for the first time. They're saying, oh, great, you're a new candidate. Rishi has a record in government, which obviously for some people he's been a chancellor, and with these taking difficult decisions means sometimes you're going to be unpopular, but having that record in government is a real advantage if we want a prime minister at the end of this who's going to lead.
I've got to throw back. Final question, one answer. Who would he fear the most in the final, Truss or Mordaunt?
Oh, difficult question. I think when it comes to the right,
I want an answer, Chris. Come on.
I think sort of Rishi versus Liz is going to be the sort of most feared contest in terms of that will be a battle for ideas rather than a battle of personalities.
Okay, so really he'd quite like Mordaunt to go through. He thinks he can beat her on competence.
I think it's a question of competence and experience, and Rishi clearly has that sort of vast experience.
Chris, thank you so much. Thank you. SJ, I've got other people to talk to, but I think I need to throw back to you now. But come back to me when you can.
Let's rejoin Beth. She has more guests with her in Central Lobby. We have had a statement from Penny Mordaunt, who remains in second place. She says, this afternoon, colleagues once again put their trust in me, and I cannot thank them enough. We are so nearly across the finish line. I'm raring to go and excited to put my case to members across the country and win. I want to pay tribute to Kemi Badenoch. She goes on to say, she and I both know that the old way of government isn't working as it should. Voters want change, and we owe it to them to offer a bold new vision for this country. Kemi's passion for this showed, and I'm glad she put herself forward to be heard. So that's Penny Mordaunt's response. What's the reaction there in Central Lobby, Beth?
Hi, SJ. Well, I'm joined by Lee Anderson, who was a backer of Kemi Badenoch, now out of the race. Lee, she ran a good race. I mean, she did impressively well, but then stalled in this round. What happened?
I don't know. I think but maybe some MPs got cold feet, weren't quite brave enough to back Kemi. Look, in every single poll, gone home, every poll I've seen over the past 24 hours, Kemi comes out on top. And each head-to-head poll, she comes out on top as well. But I think, you know what, some of the members weren't quite brave enough to give her that extra shove that she needed. But hey, a couple of years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, Kemi will be Prime Minister of this country. Absolutely no doubt about that.
She and Tom Tugendhat, in different ways for different wings of the party, have been standout stars of this campaign. That's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, they offer something new. I didn't want a continuity Prime Minister, which is probably what we're going to get now. I was looking for something totally fresh, something new, something with new ideas. I think Kemi and both Tom offered that, and the people like that.
And who are you going to back now?
Well, that's a conversation I've got to have with the other candidates. I've got my shopping list on my office desk. I shall be going to see the candidates over the next 24 hours, and whoever impresses me most and who offers the best deal for Ashford in the UK will get my vote.
And Lee, who do you think will get into the final two? I mean, it's so tight now, isn't it, between Mordaunt and Truss?
Well, you'd be a fool to back against Rishi because he's been the front runner, from day one. So he looks like he's got one foot in the final. It depends now where Kemi's votes go. I don't know. Because a lot of us were expecting Kemi to go through today, so we've got to have that conversation with ourselves.
Lee, could you ever back Penny Mordaunt, or is it just one nation isn't for you?
Well, I'll wait till I've been to speak to Penny first, and Liz and Rishi, then I'll make my mind up and I'll let you know tomorrow, Beth.
All right, thank you for coming on and talking to me. If you don't mind, I'm going to, SJ, I'm going to bring in Andrea Leadsom, his campaign manager for Penny Mordaunt. So she's still second, Andrea. But Liz Truss is catching up now. Only 6 votes separate them. You've got to be worried about that.
Well, first of all, a huge tribute to Kemi because she's really, really fought for this, and it is brutal. You know, these leadership hustings are so difficult. Yes, I mean, Penny has gained support today, and that's brilliant because it's from all parts of the party, and we are incredibly optimistic about tomorrow. But ultimately, you know, this is a decision of all of our MP colleagues. Penny is fighting a positive, clean campaign. It's a campaign that will reunite the party and win the next general election.
Andrew Leadsom, though, the Badenoch vote, I mean, Kemi Badenoch has made it very clear that she is not in any way a supporter of Penny Mordaunt. She's had warm words to Rishi Sunak. She's more identified politically with Liz Truss, and she has made countless attacks on Penny Mordaunt. There's just no way that she's going to back Mordaunt. I mean, I put it to you that Penny could well get squeezed in this final round.
The thing is, that's to assume that people vote en bloc. You know, MPs...
You accept my analysis, or you don't?
No, I absolutely don't. No, I mean, Penny and Kemi have worked together over the years. Leadership hustings...
It's been taking chunks out of her over her position on transition.
I'm going to say, Beth, if you let me say, that leadership hustings are a brutal time. You know, I've been through this myself. You've been through this a lot. You know that very often people say things in the heat of the moment, but the reality is Penny and Kemi have a strong relationship, and it's simply not true that all MPs vote as a bloc. You know, Kemi doesn't command the bloc vote in the same way that none of the leadership contenders command some sort of bloc vote. People make their own decisions. Penny is fighting a clean and positive campaign where she wants to make her case to win the next general election, to reunite the party, to grow our economy. Those are the things that she will be appealing to people, and, you know, she sends her very best wishes to Kemi.
And Andrea, Chris Skidmore just said to me when I pressed him about Sunak and who he'd rather fear the most in the final round, he said it was Liz Truss because of the kind of very different economic positions that Sunak and Truss have. That's going to help Mordaunt, isn't it? Because Sunak backers might push your woman through in order to block Liz.
You know, I don't actually believe that lots of colleagues vote tactically. In fact, you know, having talked to colleagues, most will say, no, I'm going to support the person I'm supporting. I'm not interested in that sort of shenanigans. You know, people accuse MPs of all sorts of things, but when it comes to leadership hustings, colleagues do absolutely go for the person they think will be the best one to run the country. So I don't really accept that thesis that somehow people will switch to the least this or the most that. But nevertheless, Penny is going to be talking to lots more colleagues this evening who've said, you know, if their candidate falls, they would be very keen to talk to Penny. So we're very optimistic.
Andrea, just if you indulge this question, you did this in 2016 and it was quite brutal for you. How's it been being at the side of Penny Mordaunt, seeing her attacked very personally on the front of papers every day? Has it brought back bad memories for you? Has it been quite hard?
You know, this isn't about me. I suppose the advantage is, having been through it, I'm able to say to her, look, this is just what happens. You know, we're fighting a clean campaign. It's right that people scrutinise somebody who wants to lead what I think is, and what Penny thinks is, the greatest country on earth. So this is just part of it. And actually what's brilliant about Penny is she's coping with it so well, and she just moves on. She's got a very positive, tenacious spirit, and she just wants to put her positive case to the country.
Just one other thing. A YouGov poll out today. Last week, Mordaunt was winning with party members. This week, she's not. I'm afraid to say that it seems, Andrea, in terms of the interviews she's done and the TV debates, the more the party members have seen of Penny Mordaunt, the less they want her.
You know, that is... I completely refute that. The fact
the polls show that she's losing support.
And last week's polls showed that Penny could beat Keir Starmer in London. So in a Labour city, Penny can beat Labour. And
I'm just saying, the more that, following all the media rounds that she's done, the more she's been out, the less she's impressed.
Yeah, so, you know, I think that there's a long way to go for the members to see Penny's appeal to the country. And these short-term polls, they just give one thing and then another thing. You can't draw any conclusions from those. What we actually need is to see two people in the final, both of whom could win a general election. Penny Mordaunt will definitely, in my opinion, win that general election. She has broad appeal right across the country and in all demographics.
OK, Andrea, thank you so much for me. What are you going to be doing for the next 24 hours? No sleep?
well, talking to colleagues on behalf of my friend Penny, and she is so grateful. She's got so many wonderful colleagues helping her. So yes, not much sleep.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Thanks so much for joining us on Sky News. So there you go. Andrea led some thinking that her woman will get through to the end, but actually the polls are narrowing, and Liz Truss is making up ground. And I'm joined, if you don't mind, SJ, I'll stay here. I'm joined by Ed Argar, one of Liz Truss's backers. Bit of momentum there. You've got to be pleased with that, huh?
It's a great result for Liz. She put on the most votes in that round of all the candidates, and she's made steady progress throughout this contest in building up her vote. But also, very impressive run there by Kemi, who's helped shape the debate in this leadership contest. And I don't think we've heard the last of Kemi.
Are you more confident now that Liz can get to the final two?
Well, I'm working flat out for Liz. I'm confident she can do that. We've seen that momentum building. We've seen those votes solidly, steadily building up for her throughout all the rounds of this contest. Put on, I think, 15 votes in this last round, the most of any of the candidates in terms of a gain. And since that first round of voting, aside from Rishi, she's the person who's put on the most votes.
Why did Badenoch stall? Do you think it just because in the end the right were like, we can't keep splitting the vote between Truss and Badenoch, and there was this moment where it's like, we need to get serious now? Is that what happened this round? I thought Kemi might make some more progress.
Well, I take issue with your point about getting serious now. I think Kemi is a very serious candidate, and I think she's
had a brilliant campaign.
Make the weather in elements of this campaign. She's run a fantastic campaign, and I think she's brought to this some really, really interesting ideas. And I think you know how these contests run. You've seen many of them. This is my third one, I think, since I was elected in 2015. Different colleagues vote for different reasons, and you see that momentum building for different candidates at different points. That's why I think it's important to note that, Liz is the one who's seen that steady momentum throughout, without a falter, without anything else. So she's the one, I think, who's making the running.
And Ed Argar, final question. Chris Skidmore just told me that if it was a runoff between Liz and Rishi Sunak, or Penny and Rishi Sunak, that actually it would be Liz Truss that Sunak might fear the most in the final two. She's Foreign Secretary, but also she has a very different economic vision for the UK. Are you worried that there could be a bit of skullduggery now, and actually in the end the Rishi team block Liz Truss in order to put who he thinks will be the weaker candidate in the final two? You've got to be worried about that.
No, I think colleagues will vote for the person they think is best placed to be Prime Minister, and that's the right thing to do.
Are you not worried about that? Come on.
No, I'm confident. Liz has put forward a very clear and compelling vision for the economy, for the country. She's got that depth of experience. Just as you've alluded to, so does Rishi. They are different people, but they're both very talented people. I think colleagues will see that and they will support.
Let me put it the other way. What's your message to Sunak's team?
My message is that we have a huge array of talent, which you've seen throughout this contest. Rishi, Liz, Kemi, Penny, Tom, a whole range of people, all putting forward their views, all putting forward their agenda in a positive way. I think this reflects very well on the Conservative Party, and I think they are all extremely able and talented people.
Ed Argar, thanks so much for joining me. So there you have it, SJ, the verdicts of a Badenoch supporter now. She's knocked out. Truss, Mordaunt and Sunak backers there. It's a battle between Mordaunt and Truss now. Who's going to make the final two?